All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to be explaining speedrunning, but first I get to tell you about myself because I'm a sponsor, and so I get to tell you all about me, and they can't shut me up. So my name is Bobby Blackwolf. I've been a long-time video game podcaster. I actually 17 years next week, but I started doing it live on internet radio. We use Shoutcast and IRC for comments. And then I graduated up to Twitch finally a couple years ago, and so I do it every Sunday night, starting at 8 p.m. for 1 hour over at the Voice of Geeks Network Twitch channel, twitch.tv/VOG Network. I covered like the gaming industry, things about that. I will be showing a lot of video that I took from this convention. We've actually been a sponsor of this convention since the beginning. So we really love this convention. I am a mythical Atlanta native as well. So yes, we do exist. The reason I am up here is because I consider myself speedrun adjacent. So who here knows what speedrunning is? All right, everybody. Good. Yeah. So the idea of this panel was that we were also going to like kind of explain some things that maybe people who don't regularly watch speedruns kind of go into some of the basics, because I am speedrunning adjacent. I have been fortunate enough to be a host or a donation reader for Games Done Quick. The past 5 events. 4 of them were virtual, and then 2 weeks ago I finally went to my first in-person one, where I read donations, $25 donation from so-and-so, greetings from Germany.
From Germany.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was able to make some friends, and so I invited AnEternalEnigma to come here to show a game that he speedran at SGDQ just 2 weeks ago, and he's also a prolific Twitch streamer on his own. So instead of reading donations, we're going to be taking questions during those downtimes. So if you have questions about what's going on here or about speedrunning in general, that's when we're going to be taking those. So that's how we're going to fill the space. But Enigma, introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm AnEternalEnigma, as Bobby said. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm humble, I never leave enough time for applause. But thank you. This is new for me. I'm used to doing SGDQ and GDQ and AGDQ and all the GDQs. And Bobby invited me, just want to thank you for having me. We're going to be doing Silent Hill 4. I just did this in Minnesota 2 weeks ago, a little less than 2 weeks ago. And Bobby was at the event too. And yep, Twitch streamer, full-time, been a Twitch partner for 5 years. Woo! Thank you. I wake. Streams. Thank you. I wake up every day and sometimes I have that reaction. I'm like, oh, it's still working. Okay, it's still working. But it's been a lot of fun, and we're gonna do Silent Hill 4. Hopefully I haven't gotten too rusty at it. I've done it on stream a lot this week, so yeah. I think we'll be okay. I actually have my keyboard this time that I was too bashful to disconnect and put in at the GDQ computers, just because I'm just like that. But I have all my stuff here, and what say you?
So the first thing, this is from the organizer of the Southern-Fried Gaming Expo. Since this is not technically an After Dark panel, we are going to be keeping our commentary PG. However, it's an M-rated game, correct?
Correct.
So tell us what we are going to be seeing, what content will be shown during this.
Nothing too explicit. We're going to be going through the game super fast. There's going to be no watching any cutscenes or anything like that. So nothing really too sensory overload in terms of content. It may see some blood, but I think at GDQ we did a bid war and it was green, so I'm just going to leave it green instead of red.
I didn't know if we wanted to do kind of an applause thing to see what color we wanted the blood. Because it's green or purple, right?
I think it's red, green, or purple, so we have a choice of 3.
Oh.
All right, well, you know what? I like to wing it. Who wants to see red blood? Yeah. We do applause or hands?
Let's do applause. Red blood. Green blood.
Green.
Purple blood?
Or purple blood? How about that? Who'd have thought? Okay, so we'll do that. So that'll take a little bit of the serious sting out of the blood.
Yeah.
If you have a purple. But beyond that, we don't really hear a lot of dialogue. We don't really. I mean, there's obvious combat, but it's not real. I don't even think I equip a weapon in this run until about 70% through it. Yeah. So it's just running.
Now, how long does it take casually to beat Silent Hill 4?
When I purchased this game, the day it came out in the United States on September 9th, 2004, It was a Thursday. Don't ask me why I remember. But
Why do you remember it?
because I had to go to a college class that day, and I was not happy about that class. And I was listening to Braves radio at the same time, and they were talking about a relief pitcher that they really didn't like either, and there was a lot happening that day.
You know, Austin Riley's an all-star now.
He is. He got accepted to the team today, and as last I saw, they were winning 4-3, so I'm happy about that. And but I remember that how long it took me to beat Silent Hill 4 initially on my first playthrough. And if you've ever seen my streams, it's weird. I'm a speedrunner, but when I'm not speedrunning, I'm super slow. But that first time, I'd say about 10 to 12 hours. Anywhere, I think it was 10 or 11 hours it took me to beat the game the first time.
And how quick are we going to be doing it tonight?
About an hour. About
1 hour for Silent Hill 4. So, once we get it up on the screen, I'm going to play with the lights because I see that it's probably not going to look too well up there. So why don't we go ahead and
let me go ahead and
up
throw
on
it
the
up there.
screen here.
So as you can already see, we're going to have a timer up here. I've tested it already. Oh, I wasn't close to this microphone. How about that? How professional am I? Okay. So we already have a timer up here. We'll talk about the intricacies of what that is. You're going to see the timer move on its own. I'm not going to be doing anything to manipulate that. People that are smarter than I am. Whoa, hello.
I don't know what I'm doing over here. I'm just hitting buttons.
It's okay.
How about this?
You know
Does this
what?
work for everybody?
I'm kind of doing the same thing, just hitting buttons.
Yeah.
Can we turn these off?
See,
Plunge the room into darkness?
let's see here. Yeah, yes, I'm going to figure out which button does it, so be patient.
All right. If everything in here gets shut off, you know who to blame.
Me.
There's a panel over
There's a
here.
panel here too.
Let's try the panel over here. We're going to do this live.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh my God, Sarah.
I'm gonna go ahead and load the game up here, make sure everything works. Oh, look at that. A little cinematic dim as well. All right.
How about that?
How about that? Good job, Bobby. Good job.
Yeah,
Let's hear
I can
Bobby.
do something right.
He's running everything. All right, that looks perfect. I was kind of freaking out that this wouldn't work properly because I had to do some trickery to get that
So should there be sound going through now?
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so are we good on the audio?
I can probably hit
I can turn it down from here if we need to.
Yeah, turn it down just a little bit more.
All right, let's get down to 40. Okay, is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's not, I've got knobs over there I can fiddle with.
We'll fix everything. All right, well, you're running this thing. Oh yeah,
Yeah, we gotta do the purple.
blood. There will be a riot if I don't do that, so.
So what is this thing in the top left? That's not Silent Hill 4. It's on purple.
Silent Hill 4 in the background, you are correct. That is not part of the game. That is our program called Live Split. If you want, especially if you're Twitch streaming, if you would like to give your audience an adequate representation of how well or not well your run is going, you would like to have Live Split on the screen. There are people way smarter than I am who have taken a file and have coded the game's data for Live Split to figure out when I am going into each room of the game. So you are constantly going to see that timer just roll, 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 roll. I'm not doing anything. It's just a script somebody has built to put that in there is going to be doing that for me. It's going to change. It's going to do the times for every single room, and it's going to be comparing to my best time that I have used on these splits, which I think is 48 minutes and 43 seconds. And so that's the in-game time, and that's another thing this thing does. It removes the loading times from the game, so you'll see that timer constantly kind of stop and start, stop and start, stop and start. This thing loves to go to the video, so let me get out of there. But it's because the script is detecting when the game is in a loading state and when the game is recording your time. So that's what that is. That was the long form answer of Live Split.
All right, are we ready?
You ready? All right, I think I'm ready.
Should we all count down?
Oh yeah, so GDQ, we normally tell the production people when we're going, we give a countdown, but if you would like to lead the countdown, we'll start at 5.
Wait, are we playing on easy?
We are playing on easy.
Why are we playing on easy?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because GDQ chat was very upset with me 5.5 years ago for playing on easy mode, but the reality is this is the 80% category, and we are just trying to beat the game as fast as possible, and if you've ever played Silent Silent Hill 4 casually, you know this game is not that easy. It's very punishing. So we're just going to save ourselves some trouble. Within the any percent category, there are other categories like the 10.2 star, which you play the game on the hardest mode. But for what we're doing, we're just going to play this because this is any percent. Literally any way to beat the game as fast as possible you do.
All right, so let's count down from 5, everybody. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
All right. So I know what I normally talk about in these runs, and already you can see I probably lost a little time compared to my. Whoop. I gotta get my keyboard ready. I'm used to that other keyboard now, so I'm using my old one. So we're gonna skip all these cutscenes. I'm gonna try to present this in a different way than I would for a typical GDQ audience, in case anybody watches this later. So you'll notice I am skipping every cutscene in the game. I'm just going as fast as possible. And in this first person area, it is faster to run in a diagonal strafe, so you'll kind of see me do that and kind of just stay looking at the floor. If you've ever watched GoldenEye speedruns, it's not the same qualities and traits, but you'll see in GoldenEye speedruns, they just look at the floor the entire time. Now, I just lied to you. We can't skip this. When you're playing a new game, you can't skip that. So right now, I am 1.5 seconds behind my best recorded time on these splits. So that'll give you an idea of how good or how not good I'm doing. And I can't see that on my screen. You can see that up there though, because that is what's most important, that you can see what's going on. So we skip these cutscenes. We're gonna go in here. You're gonna get a lot of keyboard clack, so I hope you like that. And right there, we got the little flick. So I thought about what to say when you're speedrunning versus playing a game casually. If you are playing this game casually, you may say to yourself, oh, I'm just going through this canal in my bathroom wall, which is standard Silent Hill fare, and you wouldn't really think anything about it. But in a speedrunner mentality, you say to yourself, okay, the camera is slowing down at certain points. How do I get the least amount of time in that segment? Well, in that segment, if you let go of W at a certain point and hit W again, you can increase your time. So, oh, there's another thing, perfect. So you see that number up there is in gold. That means it is the best recorded time I have ever had for that one singular segment. Now, there's going to be a lot of segments because we're going room by room. But you see we've gone to third person here in this game, which is more standard for Silent Hill for those of you that are familiar with Silent Hill. Silent Hill 4,
So why'd you go into the pause menu there?
I went into the pause menu and I just realized something. I need to change a control real quick, which thankfully it pauses the in-game time. I'm gonna do that real fast. Please don't think anything less of me, because I'm using a new install here. Let me change these controls real fast. Left shift will be on right shift. I am kind of breaking a rule here, but you'll forgive me, right? I hope so. All right, so left shift, I need that to be right shift. There we go, that's all I need. I was wondering why my controls were not working properly. All right, there we go. Now what was that question, Bobby?
Why did you go into the pause menu there real quick?
I went into the pause menu because this game, and this is another thing you have to think of. This is another thing you have to think of when you're routing a speed run. You have to examine the way the game handles cutscenes and how the game handles just little things in regards to how it measures your in-game time. So the game, we can't skip this by the way, the game was loading in, and so I paused the game to stop that timer because the game will stop tracking time as soon as you pause the game. So I've let the game fade in the background, so when I unpause it, I have a clear lay of the land, so to speak, and I can kind of get my movement prepared to go. Unlike that, he just kind of ran off. Silent Hill 4 is a weird game, and did that save? Oh my goodness! Once I get to another point, I'm on a new install here, and I don't think my run walk feathering is working. It is not. I'll have to pause for that. I apologize for that. Oh boy. My controls are default. We'll work around that. All right, so we'll go down here. So there's a cutscene coming right here. You see the timer has stopped, so it is not tracking my time. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Sometimes that ghost, get gets in a weird way. So when you're thinking about speedrunning, oh, he did it again. I'm gonna have to change that. I'm sorry. I'm on a new install. Ugh, I'm sweating.
First you're on easy mode.
I'm sweating. I know, I'm on easy mode. I'm making a sham out of everything. All right, please, okay, change the options. There we go, okay. That was the only thing I needed to change. Sorry about that. I was so stressed out making sure the video actually worked, I forgot to make sure my controls, but that's the only alteration that I do to the main controls. And that gives me a good reason to mention that when you are speedrunning, sometimes you do want to do that. Oh yeah. Sometimes you do want to go through and change the controls that will make it better for you to move in a more optimal route, and you have the freedom to do that. So that was actually a good segue to talk about that. I switched the left shift to the right shift so that I can hit those, so I can make him stop running so fast. So you'll notice, you'll hear me hit shift. If you just try turning the corner, he'll kind of float around the corner. But if I feather, run, walk, that's not a good example, he will just turn the corners very tightly. On the PC version of this, you need to do that, but the console version has a lot better control. And you don't have to worry about that so much. So we're just running in straight lines here. I know the third door is where I gotta go. Okay, this is way better, way better. Another thing, when you're looking at a video game and wanting to speedrun it, you have to determine how the camera controls your character. So here I'll give you a better example when I'm in an open area, but I am steering the camera versus just moving the character. You can't do it in every area. Silent Hill 4 is a bit of a bizarre game, and as we mentioned in the Twitch streamer panel earlier, I wanted to find something that was unique on Twitch that nobody was really doing at the time, so I decided to speedrun Silent Hill 4 back in 2014, and nobody was doing that at the time, but it now has a very robust community, which I'm very, very proud of. I used to have the world record on this a long time ago. It probably will not happen again, but I had it back in 2015. I was very proud of that, and we're going through here this is going to be one of my favorite examples. Oh, dog, you are being very rude.
Can you pet the dog?
You cannot pet the dog, but it can pet you, and you don't want that to happen? All right, so if you go through this casually, you may think, oh my gosh, these enemies in the wall. But once you start getting some speedrunning analyzation going on, it's a little bit easier. The first enemy, you're being rude. Okay, you can't do anything about that, you just have to wait. But once you, oh my gosh, rude. Oh, don't you do it, okay. Oh, these are not being nice. At GDQ, these were really nice. So these enemies behave randomly. And when you are deciding on speedrunning a game, or you're thinking about speedrunning a game, you have to decide and you have to figure out, or go through the research that somebody else has figured out for you. Is something that happens in this game random, or does it happen every time? Though the way that those wall enemies act is random every single time. So you have to develop your strategies to act according. Oh, that was really nice. You have to. Gold, I knew that was a gold. You have to change your strategies accordingly. So now we're gonna be forced, so I can really show you this camera tilt now. You see, I'm not moving the character, I am moving the camera. Some games and every game is going to be different. In this game, it is advantageous for me to turn the camera or steer the camera like a steering wheel versus moving the character. Because if you move the character, he starts zigzagging and going in all these lines. And if you want to play high-level Silent Hill 4, which I know may sound wild to somebody out there considering it's a single-player game, but speedruns can be very, very competitive. And you have to make sure that your run routes are very optimized. And those birds there, they're just random as well. This game, you're going to see a lot of things, and it may ring hollow if you don't know, and you may think, oh, he's just saying that. But there's a lot of randomness that occurs in this game. Sometimes this is not random. We'll get the dog. Let's see if I can get the dog. See, I didn't do it. So what I was trying to do there was get in front of that dog during its bite animation. And the animation, or the frames where your character will detect damage, go away faster than the enemy's animation does. So if you can get in front of that dog's face before it stops animating, it will give you like this roller skate boost to the door. It's not guaranteed, it's difficult to get. So that was one thing I was hoping. So we might get another one later because these dogs are all over the game. But right now, this part of the game, whereas Subway 1 was more focused on knowing where enemies were placed and trying to react to how they behave, this one is more of just running in an area and running efficiently. Aha, you see right there. Henry got stuck on a tree, on a part of the tree that didn't exist. That's another thing you have to watch out. And I've run into this with both this game and Silent Hill Downpour, which I do currently hold the world record on. If you want to cheer for Downpour, you may. But I don't know if I will be. But I got that world record about, when was that? About a month ago or so, I think. It was before GDQ. Oh yeah, that button changed too. What kind of fraud am I here? There we go. All right. Forgot that was control right.
You can't use that there, by the way.
You can't what?
You can't use that there, by the way.
I know. That's another thing. I see, this is reminding me of a whole bunch of things that I would never think to say in a GDQ event because everybody just knows. But when you're speedrunning, you have to be pixel perfect on a lot of these placements. You saw I had to give that guy the chocolate milk. And if I was not standing in just the right spot, the game was going to say, no, you didn't do that. No, you didn't do that. That didn't happen. And you have to get to the point where you can, right there. See, I moved one pixel up and then it was like, okay, you did it. So now we have to go take this key that we just got, we have to go back to our room, we have to put it in the chest, go back outside, go back to the room, get the key again. All right, so first person, you see I'm running that strafe here. I'm gonna do some inventory cleaning at the moment. I may need to change another control. Please don't throw vegetables at me. All right, so we'll go through here, we'll do that. Let me see if I can catch a pause menu. No, okay. So we'll go here. I hope everybody can hear me, by the way. The microphone's angled at a certain point, so if I need to lean into it, please let me know. But Bobby, can you hear me well?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, good. I hope everybody can as well. I'm kind of at an angle, and I don't want to, you know what I mean? So I don't want to blow anybody's ears out. But if I need to lean closer, please let me know. So we have four dogs here. One of them hit me. Oh, they know I'm not at GDQ anymore. Getting some bad luck right there. See, that's what I'm saying. We play on easy mode, but that corridor, you have 5 enemies to contend with there. You have 4 dogs and a bird. Like it's just not easy. It says easy, but it's not. Okay, so we'll go in here. We have to go back to the room. When I started running this, I ran using a controller because that's what I'm used to doing. I'm used to running with a controller. But as time started getting better and people better than me started emerging at this game, it became very clear that I needed to learn how to run this on the keyboard and the mouse. So at first I just did keyboard and mouse on the first person sections, but I have since transitioned to a full keyboard and mouse, which is still blowing my mind that I even do. I'm the guy that beat Doom Eternal on its hardest difficulty on Twitch with a controller. I had people coming in all the time, they're like, play with the controller? Play with the controller? Yes, I was playing with the controller. But here, we are here, so I'm about 20 seconds behind. That's probably because of the pause menu shenanigans. I'm sorry about the control switch there. Let's see if we can make that time back up though. I'm a little motivated now. So we're gonna be in our third area of the game, which is the water prison, and we will be going to a new speed run. A new speed run, I guess, element, pause buffering, pausing the game before it can do something else. But we'll get there as we get to it. Hopefully I'll be okay at it. On my old keyboard, should be fine. This will be a camera tilt example. With the PC version of this game, Henry only runs in 8 ways. Up, down, left, right, up, left, up, right, down, right. But for some reason, if you tilt that camera, he runs with a lot more accuracy up and down that staircase. It's very bizarre. But these are the things that you have to examine about your game if you're going to run it. And not every game is the same. The only games that I've ever run are Silent Hill games, and every one of them are different in their own ways. They're not built the same, even They may have come from, some of them may have come from the same teams, the same developers. They may be using the same elements, but no game, I maybe shouldn't say no game, but very rarely will you find two games that are exactly alike in their concepts. Just going up the ladder here. This will be another instance here of the game loading in the background. I'll try to catch it with a pause. I may switch controls real quick on something else too, if you don't mind. Just turn your head. Don't look at this. Don't look at this. Button control. It's my control that I need to turn into alt. Right control. That's what I gotta change. I will need that for the final boss fight. Okay. Sorry about that. I should have taken care of that beforehand, but the good thing about this game is it doesn't track your pause time, so you can do whatever you want, within reason. If you try to submit a run to a board and you have a lot of pause time, they'll probably reject it, so don't overdo it. But you can get away with some things like that. So, my controls are as they should be now. Here.
So how many times do you think that you have run this?
Are we talking completed or just I started it and attempted?
Let's start with completed, but then also the resets.
An enemy gets me every time. In terms of completed, I may need to concentrate on this real fast. This is our pause buffer thing where I'm trying to pause the game before it goes into a cutscene. Oh, I got it. I didn't get any of those in GDQ. Oh, I got 2 of them. Those are the 2 important ones because they'll skip the whole thing downstairs. Oh, I did not get any of those at GDQ, and it was embarrassing. Oh my goodness. Okay, I missed that one. I'm 4 for 5. I just got to do 1 more. Okay, I was 4 for 6. That's still very, very good. Didn't skip that cutscene. That hurt me right there. If you were looking at the timer kept ticking when I was looking at that cutscene. Sound 04 is a very strange game. But now that that part of the game is over, which I'm very proud of, 4 out of 6. In terms of playing this game, completing it, I bought it the day it came out on the Xbox in 2004. If I'm just, and I'm not the type of person that tracks these stats, but if I'm just going by touch and feel, I would say I have probably completed this game at least 500 times in the last 18 years or so. And in terms of at least starting the game, at least 1,000. But there's a lot of resetting that goes on with speedruns, and you just have a lot of quote-unquote attempts, even if those attempts are only like 5 seconds because you don't like how the game immediately started.
So what is it about a game like this, or for any speedrunner, what is it about the game that makes them want to come back 500 times, 1,000 times to the exact same game?
For me, it's the desire. It's the desire to do as well as I can in a run and mix that in with the game cooperating with me. It's like chasing the speedrun dragon. You're trying to get that perfect mix of playing as well as you possibly can and mixing that with the game giving you the best random elements. And there are 2 very big random elements in this game coming up later. Bobby knows what they are. We'll talk about them when we get there. But for me, it's wanting to get the best times within what I can control and mix that with the game giving me the best possible setup to do that. That was great. I was looking back. So there's no camera tilting right here. You just have to run very... Okay, so here's an example. This ghost will come through this door. Where it goes tends to be random. All right, it didn't go there. That was nice. It behaved. All right, so we'll go there. Sometimes that ghost will show up in the doorway, like on the doorway. You are not getting by that ghost. You're either waiting or you're taking a hit. So the game was very, very nice to me there. Going down these staircases. Oh, this is my favorite part. Nothing really to do with speedrunning, but pretty funny. Hard to see in a speedrun, but Henry says there's enough cat food here for an army of cats, but there's dogs on the box, so Henry's having a bad day. Just gotta let him go with it. You gotta let him have that one. We'll let him have that one. All right, so we're just going back from where we came.
So when you started running this, did you have notes written out so you can learn on this? And how long did it take you to be able to do it without any notes?
I did. I had a document on one of my old laptops where I went through the game casually and I marked every item pickup and every door. It's not as daunting as it sounds because there were very, very tiny notes. I played this game enough that I could just put some, like, health drink, and I know where it is and where to pick it up. But I did have notes, and it took me, I'd say about 2 or 3 weeks to get comfortable enough to running it without it. And then it becomes a factor of, oh, somebody else has popped up here and figured out a strategy, or they figured out that it's more efficient to pick up this item in this area versus where you picked it up here, and you're constantly just changing your notations. Oh, that was close. If that dog had bit me, that would have been a time loss. But we got away. But yeah, probably about 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I still see speedrunners use notes. In fact, one of the games I hosted for at SGDQ was Yakuza Like a Dragon, run by Fru, but he actually had notes for some of the inventory management and for some of the shopping list. Basically, he used it for his grocery shopping list. So he would know, okay, I need 47 of these and 23 of this ingredient. Even people who've run a game for years will sometimes still have notes just because it is a lot to remember. And Yakuza Like a Dragon's a 4-hour run, so that's even...
I was going to say, that is a long game. I can't imagine running a game that long. If I ever did, I'd probably start screaming. All right, I got the joke, but I missed the glitch. So I was trying to do there was a glitch here where if I had used that item at the same frame where the cutscene started, I would have been able to break Henry out of the cutscene and go upstairs. It is it is very, very difficult to do. It's I don't know if it's frame perfect. No, don't do that. See what I'm saying? Sometimes these ghosts. See, they were nice earlier, so now they're going to even it out by hitting me over here. That's how Silent Hill 4 likes to work. But yeah, I remember Yakuza. That was a long run.
And in terms of the randomness for this, there is no, you'll hear some speed runs.
See, I love this reaction because this is just standard for me.
Yeah.
And it's reminding me that, that's what they sound like when they're really mad. It gets better. There's some enemies that burp. We may not hear it, but they burp. Now, what were you saying, Bobby?
So other games you'll hear about what's called RNG manipulation. So RNG is the random number generator. There is no manipulation in Silent Hill, is there?
In this game, there's not. Silent Hill 2 recently had some maybe not recently, but about a year and a half ago, had some very big breakthroughs in terms of being able to figure out everything that we thought was random. We unfortunately are not there with Silent Hill 4. This game was made a little smarter, and the RNG is impulsively created. At least I know with the one truth that is done the moment you go through the door, and if you leave the room and go back, it is reset. And the one truth is sort of a boss that we'll do later in the game, so if you're wondering what I'm saying, we'll get there.
Yeah, and so RNG manipulation, I'll kind of go into a little bit of the technical side. Especially, this is more for like old NES games and SNES games. In order to seed random numbers, you have to give it a number of something. And a lot of modern stuff that have like the current date and time, they will seed it with that. But if you seed it with the same number, you will get the exact same random numbers every single time. So things like the NES and the SNES that don't have an internal clock for the current time, it's usually how long has it been since you turned on the console, how many milliseconds has it been, or what path did you take. You'll see Pokemon speedrunners run a very specific path, go over very specific tiles, and that's how they manipulate what they're going to get in future things. So games that are more modern probably will use the current date and time, which I think that there are some speedruns that like you have to have the console set to this specific month, day, year, and that way it seeds it with that.
Some of these runs, I don't run any game that gets that complicated, but yes, if you look around, you will see some of these runs get very wacky with things like that. But this game is a little it's a little smarter. It just kind of does everything on its own. So if you're playing this game casually, and I do a lot of casual versus speedrun comparisons because some of you may have seen this casually. In this part of the game, you get a lot of these red papers and you put them through the door for storyline purposes. But when you're speedrunning, you find out that you really only need one of them, that little tiny one from the fridge, and that's it. Like there's one that we just passed on the table. If you're playing this for a story, you would get that, put it under the door, and you would learn some story element for the game. But in a speed run, you don't do that. You just get the one that you need. This one here, and we're going to pick it back up. Let's see if I can angle over here so I'm in the mic a little better. So we're going to go this way, and picking up that memo, we'll put a key next to our bed. Magically, we'll take that. And just like that, well, not just yet, but we are already approaching the first half of the game being completed. The part of the game where, thankfully, you're on your own. That is going to change here shortly. So let's go stick that key in the door. Eileen may or may not be very happy about it. Let's listen. She's not happy about it. All right, so we'll go this way.
Now, if you have any casual playthrough, how long would you have played to get to this point?
Probably, if you're taking your time to look at everything in the game, maybe 4 or 5 hours, maybe 4, I would say. And when I also do story playthroughs of these games. I am very passionate about the Silent Hill series. So if you're interested not only in speedruns, but also really slow burn story playthroughs, you're more than welcome to come join me on Twitch as well for those. I haven't done them in a while just because Konami doesn't put any more games out. But from
I'm sure you're loving all the rumors that come out.
They never stop. They never stop. I'm still waiting on that guy to eat his hat, by the way, where that trailer was the July 12th global reveal. They didn't reveal anything. So, all right. So this is one of the big random parts of the game. We have 22 rooms in this hallway. I'm going to need a key and a locked door. It is randomized every single time. Nobody has figured out a manipulation to know what room. Oh, okay. There's one of our two that we need.
L2?
L2, that is where Eileen is, who will be our friend for the rest of the run. So now we are looking for a floor with red rust on it to get a key. The reason why I'm pausing the game is the same thing I mentioned earlier. If I pause the game, I can stop that in-game timer, but I can also get a look at what room that I'm in to see if I'm in the room with a key or if I'm not. We have unfortunately not found the key yet. I had some pretty good luck at this on GDQ. It's not so lucky now. What is this? I think this is L6 or L6. Oh, there we go. So we got the key finally. Not bad. I would have rather found the key first, but beggars cannot be choosers on Silent Hill 4. Now I have to avoid the wheelchairs. They will run you over. Oh, I'm not going to risk it. Oh, they got me. Hard to avoid. So grab Eileen, and guess what? We have a friend now for the rest of the game. She's not leaving our side, and now we have to bring her with us the entire time. So you don't go fast anymore. You have to go fast enough to make Eileen go fast, and it's just going to be a treat for us all.
So you mentioned earlier you're not going to risk it, so I want to kind of introduce what a marathon safe strat is. So tell us a little bit about a difference between like a marathon safe strat and what you would do for a PB, which is a personal best, or if you're on WR, which is a world record pace.
There's a really good example of that coming up in a few sections, but for what I just did, I instinctively said, oh, I'm not going to risk it, because I know I'm not really, obviously I'm not going for a record right now. But if I was really going for it, balls to the wall, I would have tried going into that door, whether that wheelchair was going to hit me or not, to see if I could just squeak it in there and get like that frame that will open the door. Eileen, where you at? Oh my goodness, she took forever. But there will be a point later, specifically where I go to pick up a health drink and some healing items. That would be something, if I pick that up, I'll pick it up every time just to be safe. But if I'm on a potential milestone run like a PB or a world record, I would not pick that up. I would go as
That's not Eileen.
Oh, there you go! I could feel the tension suddenly. But she made it. So another thing there, I keep hammering that home just because I want people to understand the reason why I'm spamming that to get the text up on the screen is every time that text up on the screen that said, oh, you can't just leave Eileen alone, it's stopping that timer up there. So that's important. If this were a game that were run completely on real time, and those are two, you were just going over those two terms, WR and PB, we have terms called IGT and RTA. IGT is in-game timer. That is what Silent Hill 4 runs with. This game times itself, and very, very smart people who write scripts have figured out how to measure that in LiveSplit, which you see in the top left. I need some audio here real quick. Just need to hear if Eileen gets hit by this enemy. Good, she didn't. Okay, and we also have RTA, which is real-time attack. So Silent Hill Downpour would, well, let me listen one more time. Footsteps. Okay, she's in. So Downpour, the game that I do have the world record in, doesn't have it. Well, it does have a timer, but it's broken. It doesn't work properly. So that would be an example of an RTA run, a real-time attack run, where you pause the game, it's still running. You pick up an item, it's still running. Run, 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 run. But this game is an example of an IGT game.
And then there's TAS, which is tool-assisted speedrunning. And
yes.
those are just fun.
Yep. I have never participated in the creation of a TAS, but if you ever get a chance to go check those out on YouTube or at a live performance like a GDQ or any other speedrun event, those are pretty interesting because they've taken basically the best possible movement and a machine replicates that.
Yeah, so
hold on just a moment. I gotta hear Cynthia's portal. A lot of audio right here, I'm sorry. A lot of audio. All right, here we go. Make the noise. Cynthia, you're embarrassing me. Cynthia. Whatever. We'll just go. What were you saying now? Sorry about that. That was an example of bad luck. Cynthia just. What's supposed to happen there was you're supposed to hear this noise that goes like, and that would be Cynthia leaving the area. That didn't happen, so I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen now, because Eileen's going to take some damage. So let's see what happens. Okay, I'm good with the audio cues now. What were you asking earlier?
So, well, no, I was going to explain, because I actually have tried to use a TAS studio.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, especially like on an NES or an SNES, you actually have, like, on frame 1, it does this. You actually tell it frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, what buttons to hit. And you can rewind and do that stuff. And so there are people that make these tasks that either beat the game as quick as possible or do fun tricks that you shouldn't be able to do or no human could do. Or they do what's called ACE, which is arbitrary code execution, where they use like a buffer overflow and rewrite the game with inputs. And there was a really good one in SGDQ, the Triforce percent.
Yeah, the Zelda one.
Yeah. So we're all here together, and that was using all 4 controller ports with the TAS. It was interesting what they were able to do with that.
Yeah, those runs. If you've never seen one, they're as wacky as they sound.
There's a great Twitter called TAS No Context, and there's some great stuff that you have no context for. The Brain Age ones are some of my favorites. Because they'll do the math thing in Brain Age, which is the DS game, except they won't do the numbers, they draw something that the DS will then interpret as the correct answer. So they'll it's like 8 plus 6, and they draw Mario, and it works.
All right, so we're revisiting this escalator here, a lot less busy than the first time. Whereas before, I want to say we had nearly 10 enemies. There's only going to be 4 here. Every time you run up the escalator, the first one will never hit you, no matter what its behavior is. I don't know why that is. It just is what it is. Oh, freebie, maybe? All right, that's good. Give me some time back. Deal? Okay. So, you're going to see us revisit all 5 of those areas that you saw us revisit in the first part of the game, but it's a little bit different now. Some item positions are changed. We are now having to bring Eileen with us everywhere, and I'm really worried about Eileen because Cynthia did not portal out of the area the way I wanted her to. But this will be a good example to show you how you can work on the fly with things that may not go properly. Because that sure did not. I was waiting to hear that noise. It did not happen. So we're just going to work with what they give us. Eileen may be in a bad way. She may be fine. We'll see what happens. That's the beauty of Silent Hill 4. You just don't really know what's going to happen. This was the game that I ran at AGDQ 2017. And I don't really understand these things, but it was popular enough that we got the game trending worldwide on Twitter. I guess we hit it at the right place at the right time. And it really grew my Twitch channel to a degree that I didn't expect, and it's not really, I must say, not common either. It kind of took me by surprise, and I became a Twitch partner about 3 weeks later, and then I quit my stupid job 2 months later. But I was like, well, if I gotta go back, I'm ready to go back, but I've not been back, so. Oh, I have to listen to this. There's a point to that story, I promise. All right. Let me get by this second. They was hitting with the left hand. It is with the left hand, really hard to manage. Okay. So the point of that story is Silent Hill 4, I think, is a very good game to watch being run. It can drive you nuts. It can drive you nuts if you're running it just with all the randomness that happens, but if you're watching it, it's pretty entertaining because you don't really know what's going to happen. Pretty wild. And I embrace that. That can drive some people nuts in the speedrunning area. And one thing that I'm very proud of that I've done for the last 8 years is I've never let a speedrun really drive me to the point of just, I guess you would say toxicity or just taking things way too seriously than they should be. Things are going to happen, and you just got to learn to laugh at those. In Silent Hill 4, it's happening. There's a lot of things happening here. So let's see if Cynthia got between me and Eileen. Please notice I'm doing this. I'm stopping the timer every time. There we go. Every time that text is on the screen, the timer stops. So now, not only, she's limping. Oh my goodness, this is not good. This is not good. All right, hopefully she'll recover like fast. You're about to see that red number get a lot bigger because she's limping. I got a very unfortunate occurrence there with That's not good. If she says Joseph's name, that's not good. Eileen, come on. If I can stay close to her, she might shake out of it, but I don't think she is, Bobby. I don't think she's shaking out of it.
So normally this would be a reset?
Yes. If I were doing this, if I were looking for like a real milestone run at this point, I would cut the run because she's limping. There's going to be significant loss of time. I don't know what happened in that area. And that's happened before. GDQ, we have the meme. That's never happened before. That has happened before, where Cynthia just is stubborn and won't leave that area, and you won't get that noise. Cynthia is the ghost, by the way. Eileen is our friend here, who we're having to drag all around. Yeah, you see, lost about 20 seconds on that from normal. And just little things like that can change your run just immediately. So you have to be very mindful of those things. Okay, Eileen's right there. We're in a part of the game where we can leave her alone if she gets out there, but it's going to take some time. In a weird way, I'm kind of glad that people can see this, especially if you, Bobby, if you put this on YouTube, because you can compare this to the GDQ run, where this went as expected, and you can see that I really didn't do anything different. It just happens. It just happens sometimes. So as soon as we get Eileen past this door, see, the dog kind of did it right there. It kind of pushed me forward a little bit. Once I get Eileen past this door, we can forget her for just a little bit of time, thankfully. And I know I've been talking a good bit, but if anybody has any questions out there, feel free to...
Yeah, you may need to speak up because I can't see in the darkness. But if you speak up, I will come to you with the microphone. So is anybody... All right.
I just wanted to throw that out there, and if you do get anything in your head...
So we do have a $25 donation from Anonymous.
Yeah.
That says greetings from Germany.
Yeah, they're anonymous, but we know they're from Germany. Oh my goodness! Okay, that was kind of good and bad. Walter was focusing on the bird, but he hit me with a chainsaw. Bobby, what is going on here? These are things I don't see that often.
It's the magic of the Southern-Fried Gaming Expo.
I guess that's what it is. Yep. And it's very good to be here. This is the first time.
You like that cheap pop?
I do. Yeah. You got the Mick Foley thing down pat.
Need some flannel.
I know, the red flannel. But yeah, it's been a good. Oh. Okay, it's okay if the bird hits us. I love the reactions everyone has, by the way. This is just standard for me, but I'm digging it. I love it. Because then it's reminding me like, oh my God, he might shoot me. This might be bad. So I appreciate that. That's awesome. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I imagine my Twitch chat doing. I can't hear them. So being able to hear this live is really cool.
Quick, does anybody have the Doom sound effect that we can play real loud?
Yeah, that's another thing. I get really, Twitch is my full-time gig, so I have to come up with. I hope it doesn't sound weird, but I have to come up with fun ways for people to give me money, so to speak. So I have the 666 alert that just blares the Doom Eternal song in my ears whenever someone does it. So that's what Bobby's referencing there. I was waiting for someone. I ran this at PAX East. GDQ had a stage at PAX East, and there was a lady there who frequently triggers those those alerts. And I was like, "Are you going to come up behind me with your cell phone with that song and just blare it in my ears?" And she said, "I was thinking about it. If I wouldn't have gotten thrown out of here, I was thinking about it." So right now, we've left Eileen alone. Thankfully, we don't need to bring her anywhere. We're just lighting these torches. Now, if you try to interact with these wells before you get to this part of the game, he just looks in them and says, "Oh, I can't look down those. This is too dark." But now you have a torch. And this is another thing with speedrunning that you'll learn little tricks that devs may throw in there to kind of speed things up. So the game at this point, the game at this point really wants you to go back to your apartment and dip that torch in a vat of oil that you have in your laundry room. Everybody's got oil in their laundry room, right, Bobby?
I do, yeah.
I've got a ton of it. But they want you to go in there and do that. But when you run this game, you figure out you don't need to do it. They've got it set up to where you can just light the torch and get what you need in the very next area. It extinguishes if you don't put it in the oil after 2 rooms, but thankfully, the well is in the next room after every torch. So it's one of those little funny things you figure out, like, they did set it up to where you could do it fast if you wanted to. And some developers do that, some don't. But it's always cool when you run into the games with the developers that do that. So we're going to go into our last section here. We have 4 of the 5 body parts. I don't know if that head looks like Patrick Stewart or not, but it looks pretty close to me. Probably up for debate somewhere on the internet. So we'll go here. We're going to pick up a few items. We're going to pick up the Pickaxe of Despair. This is a weapon that we are not going to use until the end of the game. That is just going to sit in our inventory. I have the torch equipped. Not technically a weapon, although you can use it as such, but you do need it to progress in the story, so I'm still considering it sort of a story weapon. All right, I'm going to give you an example of a marathon safe strat. My health is very oddly half, so I'm going to take a left turn here, and I'm going to get this health drink.
Was that Albuquerque that you took that left turn at?
Yes, right next to Truth or Consequences. That's a real town in New Mexico, by the way. So we're gonna go here. Eileen. Okay. This is gonna be different. Eileen is normally with me here, but because she's so damaged, she was already back there. Interesting. So we're gonna put all 5 of those on the wheelchair mannequin that will fall off. Also, a funny thing. If you run down this staircase, Eileen will get stuck on that last step and just stare at you like you're an idiot. Why she does that, I don't know, but she does. Okay. Oh, she's not limping anymore. Okay. So we've recovered her a little bit. The game doesn't want you to get away from Eileen at all, but where we kept her in that area, there were no enemies, so there were no chances for her to get hurt. And thank whatever you believe in, she is not.
Thou must return.
Ah! All right, there we go. We had to hit her with a torch real quick. All right, sorry about that. But yes, thankfully she's not limping anymore, so that's a good thing.
In the casual run of this game, how would you handle a limping Eileen? Is there something you would normally do in a casual playthrough?
There are items in this game that you can pick up to thwart off ghosts and their affecting possession. And one of the things that you get for Eileen is called a holy candle. I don't know how many there are in the game. They're few and far between, but Eileen can be healed by deploying a holy candle. But since we're going fast, we don't do that. Yes, and there was a man pointing a gun at my face. That's right. For me, it's just like, oh, there he is.
This is also exactly how I run up of the side of a building.
Yeah.
Like right near the edge, looking
natural.
over the edge. Yeah.
Yeah, for
exactly.
me, for me again, it's like, oh, he won't fall off, but there's just an invisible barrier there. So again, as I mentioned earlier with that tunnel that we were crawling through in the bathroom, you may look at this, if you've never speedrun or you're not familiar with the concepts, you may think, oh, this is just standard, just running, but there are some strategies going on here. If I run at a certain speed and a certain angle, Eileen is going to hit either the wall to her right or the invisible barrier to her left, and she'll do what she just did there and stop. But the reason she stopped right there is because the birds were in front of her and they, I guess, intimidated her. But you see, we're keeping her on this middle path, so there is a little bit of strategy here too. When I ran this at AGDQ 17, I was like, oh, there's no strategy here, we're just running. But as it turns out, you can do this very optimally if you do it this way.
In Eileen's defense, I'm also intimidated by those birds.
I would be too, yes. The birds, that's not, thank you, that reminds me again, the birds. Because I've had this question before, like, how do you attack the birds? Do you try to avoid them? With this, no, you just let them hit you. Because you take a 1 second loss if they hit you. Their attacks seem to be random, but trying to avoid them or trying to hit them would actually lose you time versus just taking the 1 second hit. Oh, hello. Hello, okay. He was just looking at the birds. He was just looking at the birds. Sometimes Walter wants to kill you and sometimes Walter wants to kill the birds. Thankfully, he was just going for the birds. Oh! Getting me tense now hearing the reactions. So we're going to be back in this area. I had something I was going to say, but this game, some games you'll have some downtime, you'll have this and that. Silent Hill 4 just never really stops. There's always something to do, there's always something to look at, there's always something to talk about. So, marathon safety. Normally wouldn't pick that up, going to pick that up, just to be safe. Because there's something coming up later that may spell doom for me. So I'm going to pick that up just to be a little safe. Okay, so we're going to go back. Bobby, we have to go back and we have to put a shirt in our bathtub.
Yep.
It's a standard. We all have to do that once a day.
I did it in my hotel room.
I know. I did that before I left the house and I got into that horrible Atlanta traffic. I came from down south, so I drove through Henry County and all that. It was worst traffic I've ever seen, even before the expressway. I was like, what is going on here? I should have used that for the Scream joke. Anyways, we'll do the torch here. We're going to do our last little inventory management. We're going to get our Sword of Obedience that we picked up from the ghost earlier, our handgun, and go back into the stairwell. Ooh, that's a bad ghost spawn, but it doesn't hurt us. So it only hurts you if you just stand there and look at it for a few seconds, so we're okay. We're going to do an animation skip here where we equip the gun, but go through the door at the same time, so you don't have to wait. And we're going to do another skip here where we equip the silver bullet in our inventory while hitting one of these at the same time. Nope. Got it. Got it on that one. So you don't have to watch the little slow animation of him loading the bullet. You take the hit and load the bullet at the same time. We're going to make the salvo screen here. If you do not have a silver bullet and a Sword of Obedience there, you're in trouble. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's harder than the final boss. I don't know why they made it like that, but it's very difficult.
Now, I don't think we're using it here, but a term that you might hear on a lot of speedrun commentaries is called damage boost. And So do you do any of the damage boost in this?
In this run, no. There's no real damage boost in this game. And because of the fact that this was the only game I ran for so long before I looked at the other games in the series, I was very foreign on the concept of damage boost. But in this game, no, there's no damage boost.
So what that is, damage boost, especially like I think like in some side scrollers or whatever, you can get further if you get hit by an enemy and it boosts you across, and you actually move faster by getting hit. So you'll see that sometimes, and you'll see them talk about damage boosting during their runs.
At the time, I'm like, what the heck is that? But then I remembered Eileen was limping everywhere, and that's where all that loss came from. Now this is a very scary room. There's 6 of those enemies pointing at us, and they're about to go, did Eileen come? Okay, she did. They're about to go a little wild. Here we go. I've died here before. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Oh! Come on. There we go. Thank you. Oh, thank you, game. Thank you, audience. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, everybody. All right. That is the scariest part of the game. I have died there on live GDQ performances before, on their sideshows, on the hotfix. I remember the first time it happened, I just sat there and I was like, oh boy, what do we do now? I don't know what we do. But thankfully, they let me just do a continue.
Now, do you have any safety saves? That's another term that we sometimes use on marathons.
For this, I do not, because this game is pretty stable. I'm not running it on Windows 11, so it's fine. I recently upped my gaming computer to Windows 11, and Silent Hill 4, wouldn't you know it, an 18-year-old game doesn't play very well with Windows 11. But my laptop is still on 10, so it's good. But yes, you probably need to have some. Do as I say, not as I do. Probably. Well, it also depends on the game you're playing as well.
And where you're playing it.
Yes, and where you are performing it. In this game, if you die, they give you a pretty. You notice I have not been saving the game once. Oh, we're doing a skip here. I'll get ahead of myself. So we're gonna bump Eileen so that she does not go into the elevator. The game wants you to bring Eileen into the elevator and leave her there. We're not doing that because we're breaking the rules. We're going fast. This game wants you to get 4 items and place them in certain areas. We're not doing that. Oh, thank you. I didn't. Thank you too early. So there's a fence right in front of me that Eileen is behind, and because we did that little animation bump where she doesn't go through, she'll be coming through the doorway in a moment. But let me have some audio real quick. All right, I think she made it. 3 seconds? Yeah, she did. So if I count 3 seconds, she goes through the door. So she's magically there. We've skipped that whole part of the game. Oh wow, this is very good setup here. Usually those wheelchairs are just in your face at the bottom of the staircase. They were out of the way. Do you remember what I was talking about before I was like, ooh, animation skill?
I think we were talking a little bit about safety saves and do as I say.
Yeah. So this game's pretty stable. Oh, she's chanting. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Oh, I need audio here too. I'm so sorry. Okay. I forgot I needed the audio there to hear when her footsteps change. So I pulled her through the chain link fence. But yeah, this game, whenever you die, they give you a pretty generous continue point. You'll notice I have not saved the game once. There's no game saves. However, if you die, you can just continue and you can go back to a set checkpoint that the game sets. So, but not every game is like that. You have to see what each game does. So we are just going down a staircase here. We are going to our other main random element of this game. It is called the One Truth. If any of you are familiar with whack-a-mole at the state fair or the county fair, that is exactly what we're about to do. There's going to be, I think, 12 of these things that come down from the wall, and we have to find the one that causes damage to all of them. It is completely random. I got perfect luck at SGDQ 2 weeks ago, and I'm fairly certain that will not happen now. So, but we will see how it shakes out. Nothing really else to talk about here. We're just kind of dragging Eileen down. I'm trying not to get too far ahead because that does increase her possession levels. Let's see if she's here. Where'd That bird is there. Yeah, that bird is there, but Eileen unfortunately is not. All right, that may be the last staircase. Yep, there she is. Okay, so the one troop. We're gonna attack 2 pairs at once. Let's see if I get this good luck again. I don't think it's gonna happen, but let's see. Oh my God! It happened again! Are you kidding me? What in the world is going on? What on? I swear, I do this on my stream, and it doesn't work this way. But I get in front of an event. I don't know what is going on. That is surreal. That happened at PAX, that happened at SGDQ, and it just happened here. Unbelievable. Well, there's an example of the best possible luck that you can get right there. When you don't get the luck, it sucks. It is not a good time. So this is our last segment of the game where we are running Eileen down the staircase. I cannot believe I got that again. I was so certain that was not happening. So we're just running down the staircase here. Nothing really to write home about. If Bobby were my host at GDQ right now, no, I can't. See, right there, I couldn't because I would have had to equip the pickaxe, and the loading animation is really long. And these are the kind of calculations you have to make in your head when you're speedrunning. So, if I had equipped that pickaxe, it would have taken me longer to equip and hit her versus letting her just chant whatever babble she was saying. So.
And I also want to point out how difficult it is and how amazing it is that Enigma is actually able to talk and have a conversation while doing this. A lot of speedrunners, they're concentrating, and so they aren't able to have this kind of conversation. So this is a very unique skill. There are many speedrunners that do it, but Enigma is doing a really good job of it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I've always been adamant that you try to talk with the people that are giving you their time. So I try, my philosophy, not just with speedrunning, but streaming in general, is everybody has a good time, not just letting people watch me have a good time. I want everybody to have a good time. So I will talk to people and talk as much as I can to get everybody engaged with everything. Speedrun thing here, there's 4 pieces of paper in here. You only need to get 3. I don't know why that is. You can leave that other one. But going back to that other thing, some people have asked me before, they say, you think you'll get better times if you don't talk to the audience? And truth be told, no, I don't. I have done this stuff offline, and I feel like I play exactly the same. So it's just become one of those things where I give attention to the people that are giving me attention. I feel it's only fair, and I enjoy doing it. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right, so we just got a pair of evil-looking keys, the game says. I don't know what makes keys evil, but they're evil. So we are going to the last section of the game. We're on oh yeah, my timer over there will show you my pace as well, my predicted pace. So right now we're at 50-15, which is pretty good time, considering Eileen was a mess, and I had to change my controls on the fly that I forgot I changed. So 50-15, still very proud of that time. We'll see if we can maintain it. But yeah, Eileen limping in the beginning of the second half of the game really kind of do that for a loop. All right, let's see. Oh, this is not Walter. Don't be scared. It's going to be a ghost. Cynthia, hello. Hello, goodbye. All right, there's going to be the impatience behind this door. Let's see if any of them hit me with what is called, what Maxi Loads calls the secret elbow. One of my streamer friends. We did not get elbowed. Walter's going to be here. Is he going to be excited to see us or not? Nope, he's not. Sometimes when you go through that door, he just hauls tail after you. But he thankfully did not there. Yeah. That's one of our twin victim enemies, but a little deformed. It wasn't completed. So now we're gonna get some sound of Walter Sullivan's dad being quite rude. We have to interact with these 6 huskless string jackets. Walter's dad is the reason this game happened. Wow, no you.
This is supposed to be scary and creepy, by the way.
Yeah, so rude he is. It's like, shut up, just shut up. All right, we're getting pointed at, but they won't really. And that is something that I tend to forget too, that I need a reminder of. I've been doing this for so long. Like, this is a horror game. I have seen people, excuse me, and I see people run this, not really run, but I see people play this on Twitch. If you are playing this casually on Twitch, I'm probably watching your stream. I lurk a lot, because despite what my clothing wants to say, I don't like drawing a lot of attention to myself in other people's arenas. But if you are playing Silent Hill 4 on Twitch casually, I'm probably watching you. And I love watching people play this game. It is a, oh my God, is there one he didn't hit? Uh-oh. All right, so we have to improvise now. I don't know which one I didn't get. I think it was the middle one. So you may see my timer, oh hello, you may see my timer go completely nutty. Was it this one I didn't get? It was. There's that live performance pressure right there. It got me. If it gets me, it can get anybody. All right, so I forgot that one. That'll cost me a little time, and that one's completely on me. You have to be able to admit when it's your fault. Oftentimes it is not my fault, but that time it was my fault. All right, so grab that. Get the, the umbilical cord through the bookcase, Easy. And you don't have to stand in front of the bookcase. Speedrunning will teach you that you can just stand to the side of the bookcase and magically pull it through the side. Alright, so yeah, that cost me maybe about 30 seconds or so. Alright, so you just run by this enemy right there. The bell is tolling, which means the game is almost over. This game takes about 10, 11, 12 hours to play casually. And we're almost done. A lot of enemies chasing us. They don't want the game to be over. They want to stop me. Oh, I didn't get elbowed. All right. Wow. It's amazing how some things have gone completely wrong on this run, but some things have gone perfectly. That is the definition of Silent Hill 4. And speedrunning in general, depending on the game that you pick. All right. I think our inventory management is complete. We are ready for the final boss fight. It is just a matter of getting there. Thought Walter Sullivan was coming through that door for a moment. It's like, Walter, this is a video game, bud. All right, so we are equipped. If you have been looking at my inventory, I have left that subway card. Sorry for clearing my throat. I didn't drink a lot of water today. But I have that subway card in my inventory. We're going to do one last little glitch here. First off, we have to stuff this thing that we picked up from the bookcase into this mythical figure here. So I'm going to try to do it. No guarantees. I'm going to try to do a skip glitch here. You'll know if I got it. Did not get that one. I'm trying to use the subway card before I pick up the spear, and he'll do a little funny roller skate if I get it right. Got it. There you go. It is. Oh, come on. Oh, we got it. Okay. I love that somebody found this. See, this is the thing about speedrunning. You talk about quality assurance people in game dev. Speedrunners are the best QA people. I don't know who finds this stuff. I am not the type of runner that finds glitches. I just replicate what other people find. I don't know how people find this stuff. I feel like half of it is found on accident. But somebody in the last year or so figured out if you try to use a weapon or try to use an item incorrectly here, that he'll just grab the spear. He won't do it there. He'll grab the spear and you can skip the animation, just slide him on the floor. Got it. Yep. I like to call it the unicorn rollerblading, because there's really no other definition. There you go again. Wow. I may just grab this one. Yeah, just get it. Because I don't want him to slide. Walter's in a really good spot for the final boss fight. If I can keep him there. He's laughing. Awesome. Alright, I got him in a really good spot. This is a lot better than the GDQ. So now we will finally equip that pickaxe that we've had the last 30% of the game. And now we can use it. Oh, he's in a great spot. Oh my goodness, this is really good. You might see me take a hit. It's actually a good thing because Walter positions me in a spot where he can't hit me again if he hits me once. So if he hits me once, it's fine. This is random. It can take either 4 or 5 small hits. 2. See if we get some good luck here. 3. 4. Then we'll do another charge shot. Oh, we got the bad luck. It's going to be one more hit. The game is not over yet. The game will be over in time. I think my timer broke because I had to go back to that one room, but we'll see the final time here in a moment. So we'll pull up the time here. If I had not messed up the sequence, the timer would have worked properly. But final time, oh, it did get it right. It just got the actual splits wrong. Yeah. There it is, 50-56. That's actually a really good time, considering Eileen went off the rails in the middle of the game with the limping and Cynthia wouldn't portal properly. 50-56. That's Silent Hill 4. Thank you.
So we're actually going to do something fun here as well, because if you are out there and haven't done a speed run and don't think you'd be able to pull something like this off, I said the same thing. Remember at the beginning, I said I was speedrunner adjacent? I actually have speedrun something. One of the easiest fully glitched speedruns you can do. It's a neat party trick. It's a very easy glitch. And I'm going to set up my computer and we're going to show you how you can beat Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past in 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
So maybe if you want to come down here and you can vamp and talk while I kind of do that here.
Yeah, I can do that. I can run and host stuff.
Yeah. And answer. And if you have any questions, now would be a good time while we try to figure all this out in the dark.
Oh yeah. Do you need a flashlight?
I've got.
Go on. Okay, he's prepared. He knows what he's doing. So yeah, you're about to see a run. Like I just did mine. I wonder, I think the real time, let me check my clock here. It's about 8:18. I'd probably say about an hour. It was about an hour real time. So we're about to go from an hour real time to what was it, 4 minutes?
Yeah.
4 minutes. So you're gonna see a good little, the dichotomy of speedruns here. He kind of put me on the spot. I didn't know I was gonna stand out here with a microphone, but that's all right. I'm good at ad-libbing if we need to. Which one do you need?
Well, it's going to be both the HDMI and the audio.
All right,
so.
that is going to be the audio right here. Can we disconnect it?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's just going to go through my
Yeah,
laptop. And the HDMI is right here. Will it reach?
I can move my laptop closer.
It should. What side is your laptop
I
on?
think it's on the.
If it's on the left side, that's on the right side? Is it on the right side?
It's a new laptop, so.
Still getting used to it? Yes.
Yeah, I think it's on the left side. I can move my laptop over.
Okay. Because this is about as far as it goes, right here. We don't need to hear Song 04 anymore. There you go, sir. Well, trapped in here.
Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, now would probably be a good time.
Yeah, by all means. If you have anything that's going through your head after watching me do that for an hour, by all means. Yeah.
Oh well, I watch your stream a ton, but
Thank you.
What's your approach? Downpour, is downpour, but
It sure is.
when you're playing, like, how do you approach that? Is there anything that you do differently when you approach those games as speed games, or what? Like, obviously, you go into downpour a lot more negative because it's downpour.
Yeah, a little bit more negative, but oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
I was saying, shifting back to my serious question more so, just, is there actually any gameplay thing that you're like, okay, I really have to, shift your focus on and stuff?
I go into downpour with a lot more patience. There's not a lot going on, like what I just did. It's just, Silent Hill 4 is just, there's always something going on. With Downpour, not so much. So I have to be a little more reserved and I have to be a little more calm with things. There's a handful of things in Downpour, specifically if you remember the area where the three screamers are on the table. That's the part of the game that can, at the level that I play it at, it will live or die at that part of the game. And it's an hour and 45 minutes into the run. You know how, for those of you not familiar with Downpour, this game that I just played, I was skipping and skipping and skipping and skipping all the cutscenes. In Silent Hill Downpour, you can't do that. I don't know why. We just had somebody take a very deep dive into how Downpour was coded as a game. And, because my question was, do you do that on purpose or is it an accident? It was on purpose. They purposely went into Unreal Engine 3 and made it to where you could not skip the cutscenes. Excuse me, hold on. Gosh, sorry about that. But going into Downpour, you have to be a lot more patient. And you have to be, at the same time, ready for things to fly off the rails. Silent Hill 4, you have to be ready for action at all times. That was a very good question, thank you. And thank you for watching the streams, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. How are we doing, Bobby?
I gotta get the...
Oh yeah, I see it, we're getting there.
And the...
But thank you again, everybody, for being here. This is my first time at Southern-Fried Gaming Expo. First time. Bobby tried to get me out here last year, but thank you. But COVID was a little wild last year, and I had to listen to my mom. I don't live with my mom anymore, but she's like, I don't want you going. I don't want you getting sick. So I'm like, okay, all right. I told Bobby, I said, you got me next year, so we're here. But this has been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
All right, now I get to do this for the first time.
Yes.
What end is that?
This is the Nintendo Switch Online. So I'm doing this on a Switch, but you can do this on anything. So I've done it on actual hardware, I've done it on a RetroPie. So this is just on the Nintendo Switch.
So there's nothing that it doesn't work on.
Right.
It works on it.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting, yeah. You figure at some point Nintendo would mess with some of these things and fiddle with them, but I guess not.
I had the wrong game selected. There we go.
You can do Metroid if you want.
I cannot do Metroid, no. I'm speedrun adjacent. All right. How's that for getting it working the first time? That's never happened before.
That's right.
All right.
I love that.
So not usually part of the run is creating a character, so I'll just make this SFGE. If I can do it right. First try every time. And I made my own splits in Live Split, and I actually have a key that I have to hit. And hopefully the global hotkey still works. It worked the last time. To be able to, but I've made these splits just to kind of break up the part of the run. So, time's gonna start when I hit the file. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! So you can't really skip any of this. I'm basically just mashing A for this. It goes this slow. It's always going to go this slow. So there is one glitch in here, and I will show you the glitch. It's a very easy glitch to get, which means I'm not going to get it the first time here on stage, even though I've gotten it the first time all the other practice ones. Because that's how this works.
That's how it works, every time.
So you got to wait for your uncle to leave here. And then you immediately want to get out of bed and get out. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the castle. And usually the best route is to go around up this way. People who have the world record for this, which I think is like 1:50 or something, have this exactly the way they're going to do. We're not going to get there.
At least you're honest about it.
Yes. So you're going to come up here and you're going to get the sword from your uncle, like you do at the beginning of the game. So there. So now we have the sword. So now we're going to go up, and the trick here, it doesn't matter now, but it's called good practice. You don't want to get hit by any of the enemies. And it doesn't matter right now, but it's going to matter later. So you want to go into the castle without getting hit, which is just going to be practice for the next time. Okay, so it didn't matter that I got hit there, but I don't want to do that the next time around. So I want to go up to the second level here, and this is where the glitch is going to happen. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go to this area, and I'm going to jump down, and I'm going to hit select, and I'm going to save and quit. So now I'm going to load back into the game. It's going to start me back here with the sword. And now I don't want to get hit at all. If I do, I'm on Nintendo Switch Online, so I'm just going to rewind. Marathon safe strat right there. But, and I will explain when we get to the actual, what actually happened, I will explain what we were doing here. So, but the key here is do not get hit by any of them. All right, second try, first try every time. Now, I'm going to go up here, and we're going to go into the left door here. Now, there is a guard here. Remember when I said we didn't want to get hit? We actually do want to get hit. So I'm going to get his attention. He's going to come up. I'm holding left, and now I am gone. So what happened is so now I am out of bounds. OOB, you'll sometimes see. You're going to go up here, and then now on this screen, I want to go, you can see Link's head on there. He's going to the right. Now he's going to go up. So what happened when you saved, it saved you at a level lower than where you were, and it resets when you get hit, which is why you don't want to get hit too early. So now we're just going through, remember this room? This was my favorite room in the original game right there. And so now we're going over here and just seeing all these rooms that obviously we did a lot of stuff in. And up here is going to be Ganon. So Ganon's up in the next room up here. So there's Ganon. And time.
So we have 3 minutes and 20 seconds?
Yeah, I think I missed one of my splits, so it was like, yeah. Oh yeah, because I was supposed to split at the wall hit, but that was me, I have to hit a button to do it. So yeah, so that was about, 3 minutes, 19 seconds, 3 minutes, 20 seconds. You can do it on anything, it's just getting that glitch when you jump down. And the fun thing is, now the game is totally glitched. So the ending here, as I'm mashing A, not that it's gonna make anything really go faster, since we never got out at the beginning of the game, it's going to be raining during the final credit sequence. And there's even some graphical glitches that happen because we never made it to the actual part of the game and it's still using the original assets it was loaded, and it's kind of fun to see. So even if you don't want to get into speedrunning, that's a good party trick. Maybe, I don't know if they've got Link to the Past in the console free play thing, but you can impress all your friends by beating Link to the Past in 4 minutes. This is funny once it gets to this point. Enigma, do we have any donations?
There's always donations.
There's always
donations.
So there are, we've been talking about marathons, so Games Done Quick, if you are in here and you don't know what we're talking when we're talking about Games Done Quick, it's a charity marathon. If you're my age and I say the Jerry Lewis charity telethons, it's that, but it's instead of variety acts, it's people playing video games really quickly. And Games Done Quick is kind of the big one, but there are a bunch of marathons all around the world.
Oh, yeah.
And that is where you get to see the speedrunners at their best, because that's what they're really going for. So if you watch a random speedrunner on Twitch, they may be doing a whole bunch of reset runs, but on a marathon, you will actually see them perform the whole thing, and that's why I enjoy the marathons a lot. So yeah, so you notice here that it's raining during during here, and then when it goes into the sanctuary, like part of the wall stays there. It's great. So watch the wall there. Look at that. That's totally how I remember it as a kid.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then, so if you let this all play out and it saves your game, it starts you back, you load up that save, you're in the dark world as the rabbit, and you can't do anything. Like that save is just done. It's glitched out, you've totally broken the game. So we are at time, but thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you, Enigma, for coming out here. He is at AnEternalEnigma on Twitch and on Twitter. I do a video game podcast over at the Voice of Geeks Network on Twitch at VOG Network. and I do more about the gaming industry, but I do talk a little bit about some of my time at GDQ, being a host, and maybe I'll be fortunate enough to be able to read donations at a GDQ in the future.
Yeah, sure.
So, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. It was great. Thank you.
Now we'll try to figure out how to turn the lights back on without blinding anybody.